Four Nights of the Apocalypse, chapter 114 is out, and I'm going to be honest, probably the least exciting chapter in this last couple of batches. We've had action, we've had build-up, we've had some lead-ins to reveals for stuff like Percival, we got Allure, we got Zeldris, we got the Chaos Knights doing stuff. This one, not a whole lot happens, it's merely just the start of the mission, as we seem to have jumped forward in time to the end of the week, which is something that I'm honestly not too sure on how to feel. On one hand, I liked the slower pace so we can get more accustomed to the training for the rest of the group. On the other hand, it could have dragged on a bit too long if we went to like one day for every chapter or two, and thus people probably would have gotten bored. So in terms of the pacing, I think it was a good call to skip to the end of this week's training, but now I feel like we could have had an extra chapter or two with like Percival or Tristan's training, because I feel like we just skipped over Tristan's portion to an extent, but I feel like we're going to get something else with Tristan as we go along. But that's enough of a brief intro. Let's get started with the review. But before we get into the video, only 26% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed to the channel, and if you haven't already and you want to see more videos, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the notification bell. It shows you guys like the content I make on this channel, and you'll be notified whenever I upload next time. Now with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So chapter 114, the mission begins. Now I do like that the cover page is literally just all four knights getting ready to go into a battle with individual panels, with Percival showcasing his stand, Lancelot being Lancelot, and Tristan and Gawain taking action poses. Even though we still have not seen Gawain for the last couple of chapters after she got captured. Which is hard to believe. It's been 7 chapters since this has happened, so that's still kind of hard to process that we haven't not had Gawain in such a long time, and this gets brought up in the chapter. So the chapter starts off with the falling meteor shower crashing down on the demons on the outskirts. The demons are crying out that the negative energy of the behemoth is coming towards them, and that they can see it so clearly due to how thick the negative miasma is. But one of the demons says not to stand there, they have to evacuate now. But one demon shouts out and tells them to look over in the distance as the flaming rain stops, meaning the path to the behemoth is now open. And the demons cry out and cheer for Percival, their savior, to go and save the demon world once more, and says for them to never lose any hope, any of them. As we cut to the Demon King's castle, as we see the main group looking on as Zeldris is hugging Percival. This is, seriously, any scene with these guys together is such a really nice, wholesome scene. I don't care if Ironside is technically Percival's dad, Zeldris and Gilda are his parents. And this one single page in this arc has showcased that. Zeldris goes on to say that they're counting on Percival to save them for a second time, as Percival says, I'm not sure what I can do, but I'll give it a shot. And Gilda goes over and says, you're always welcome back here, my bouncing baby boy. As Zeldris just says, yeah, you might be the savior of our world, but you're also very much like a son to us in every bit of the way. And that just, I'm glad that they said it. I am so glad that they said it, and I would honestly wouldn't be opposed. I don't think anybody would be opposed if the next time Percival saw Zeldris and Gilda, he would just call them mom and dad. This also 100% confirms and puts to bed the whole Zeldris and Gilda having a vampire demon baby. This could happen in the future, but this basically confirms that they don't have a kid right now, and Percival is basically filling that void. But after they say their goodbyes, Lancelot shouts out to Percival that it's time for them to get moving, as all the demons in the castle yell out that Percival, the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, and their companions to be blessed with fortune, and wishes them all luck. As we fast cut outside the Demon King's castle, as a giant footstep comes on, as we see, towering above the mountains, a giant Albion is walking across the demon realm. And this is something that I was not expecting. But the entire group is piloting. They're inside the Albion and they're piloting it on their way to the behemoth. And this was gifted to them by Zeldris. Now, I knew from Seven Deadly Sins that the Albions were giant golems that were made with magic and were essentially on autopilot for the most part. But I had no idea people can go inside and pilot them like battleships. Heck, even Lancelot in this instance says that he had no idea that people could actually pilot it and control it. But then Donnie shouts out, why are you the one piloting it? And Percival wants to give it a try too, but Lancelot just says, come on, wait your turn, let me handle it first. As Nazians points out that they're all kind of enjoying this. Nazians mentions that there's an autopilot system in this thing apparently that will take them straight to their destination, but Lancelot just tells Nazians, just where's your sense of adventure? As everyone's just, I honestly like this interaction. Lancelot, he's acting like one of the guys in this instance, just messing around, and he's like, okay, we have this brand new spanking golem that we can drive. I call dibs. That's basically this whole situation. But breaking this whole tension, On brings up the fact that they haven't seen Gawain in days, ever since they came to the Demon Realm, and they're wondering if she's even okay. But Jian chimes in, being an absolute ass, and just says, Gawain's probably dead already. Maybe one of the world's beasts ate her, maybe one of the human-hating demons did her in, or maybe this world's miasma suffocated her since she basically had the effects of Tristan's saintly coat fade away already since she's been gone. They don't know about the guy that has, well, goddess powers, so that's pretty decent, and I hate to say it, rational thought in this instance with this speculation. Granted, this is Gawain, and I like how On is just saying that Gawain's their friend, how can talk like that, but Xion just says, we gotta envision the worst case scenario, and Lancelot chimes in saying, speaking of worst case, there's every chance Gawain turned traitor too. We know the agents of Camelot are active in this world right now, and besides, she's related to Arthur, am I wrong? And Xion just gets all giddy stating that that's right. I'm glad that someone else had this negative opinion like me. But Nazians asks Lancelot if he really thinks that, and Lancelot just says, nah, there's no possible way. I mean, look, anybody in this group can tell if someone is a traitor. If Gawain is a traitor, it'd be Lancelot. He could read people's minds, and I doubt Gawain in this instance would be, like, very obvious in hiding or altering her thoughts if this was the case, unless she was some sort of sleeper agent. But, based off of the events that we know as readers, Gawain is very much on the Four Knights team, 100% at the moment, and she just got captured. Moving on, Lancelot just says, very obviously and very plainly, that there's an endless list of things that we could just worry about, but our mission couldn't be simpler. Find a door to Camelot, and take out everybody in their way. And Gawain is a Knight of Prophecy. She'll be back with them. He can guarantee it. He promises them that. And look, I think out of everybody in the group, based off of how the previous arc has gone, Lancelot has actually spent the most time with Gawain, if we really think about it, outside of Tristan, or at least an equal amount of time with Gawain as Tristan at the very least, and he could read minds. So if he's guaranteeing it, he's guaranteeing it. And I can honestly guess that she is going to break free from her restraints at some point and join them in their fight. Xion just says, if only things were meant to be that easy, as Percival chimes in, look, I'm sure we can do this. That's why we spent the last week training so hard. On brings up, wait, Percival, did you finish your training? Percival just says, yeah, no, my opponents were too tough. Meaning that from the hypeness of the end of the last chapter, we fought a vestige of Ironside in Lancelot's acting and level up training. Seems like even with that power boost he got in the previous chapters, he did not beat Ironside, or at the very least, Ironside, Pelgard, and whoever was maybe if we went to level 5 in that training. Nazians asked Donnie how his went, and he just like, yeah, don't ask me. Please, don't even ask. Obviously showcasing that Donnie didn't finish his training. But Percival just says, anyway, I know that Gawain's gonna be safe. If the enemy caught her, we can just go back and get her. I mean, that is also a possibility, but I feel like it'd be better if Gawain broke out on her own. Xion goes on to say that that's just wishful thinking. You think it'll all work out like some storybook tale, as Tristan rightfully and thankfully just tells Xion to be quiet and that it's enough. He tells him to stop, and I love it. Tristan says, no matter how this turns out, we're committed to doing this. That is what fate has in store for us all, as Lancelot looks over at Tristan. It's very possible that Lancelot might know something more about the fate of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, why they were prophesized, anything more to go on, so there is always the possibility that Lancelot knows more and is waiting for the right opportunity to say something, or probably feels like he shouldn't say anything until the right moment. Probably digging way too much into Tristan's dialogue and Lancelot looking over at Tristan, but you also have to remember they're best friends, and I'm pretty sure Lancelot can tell stuff's going on in Tristan's mind, and he's probably worried for him. That's most likely the case, or Lancelot has extra information that he hasn't told anybody yet about their fate. But then, all of a sudden, Lancelot is shouted out to by Percival, as right up ahead, it's getting harder and harder to see. As it seems that the negative energy from the behemoth is getting incredibly thick. The miasma is so strong, it's like ash floating around in the air, making it very hard to see. As we then see behind the Albion, a dragon-like creature is falling right behind them in the miasma stream. As this is all 7 of the Knights of Chaos that have been hiding out and waiting for an opportunity to strike. And they're surprised to see this giant creature and the fact that all Knights are inside, as Motlich states that, well, their magical force is inside it, so they have to go in. And it must be a golem that they're looking at. It's then that Tomentul ends up noticing something and tells Motlich to look out, as he then unleashes a saintly coax to cover the beast and all 7 Knights. As it seems that the negative force brought upon by the behemoth is a lot stronger than they had predicted, and it broke through the defense in only a few seconds. And while it is very bad, a lot of Knights are asking what they're going to do. But Motlich says to look ahead, as miasma is keeping its distance from the Albion. And it's very possible that that is just Percival's very presence keeping the miasma away from the Albion, as we know that Percival has a type of healing type thing with his ability, his hope powers, and it could also just be residuals of Percival's hope of energy keeping the miasma away, as something that I've kind of speculated in the past about over. Now the Knights speed ahead and get ready to land. Motlich tells them to lay low for now, as he then states that they're here to destroy the door, block their invasion, and wipe out Percival of the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse. As they all land, and we see that they are on the very top of the Albion. As he says, the moment we reach the site of the behemoth, our mission begins there. Ending the chapter. So, yes, not a whole lot happened this chapter, and I know I kind of like spouted off some stuff that I just had on my mind. However, I just want to state that while I stated in the beginning I wish we got a bit more of the training, I do feel like now we're getting ready into the action-packed portion. And I think with 7 Knights at the moment, against the main 8 that we're having right now, I think things are fairly balanced at the moment. Because now everybody seems to have an opponent, and maybe one fight will be a 2 versus 1, and maybe Rosebank will turn traitor in this instance, or try and help them passively to repay Percival's kindness, as in that last panel, when Motlich says that their mission is to kill Percival, we see a thought bubble in Rosebank's dialogue bubble, so it's very possible that she's still kind of thinking this over and wondering if she should actually have these feelings right now. But yeah, we basically skipped over the rest of the training. We didn't see any more from Tristan, if he did any training over the last like 4 or 5 days of that whole week. We got wholesome moments with Zeldris, Gelda, and Percival, basically saying to us that they're essentially family at this point, and I would not mind. And the mission officially starts as they ride in Albion all the way towards the behemoth. Now, what's going to happen with Gawain, or where is Gawain, I have no clue. There's the strong chance that they just left her tied up, maybe with a guard, but all 7 are there, so maybe they have her in a pocket dimension, or maybe just figured that she's not much of a threat, so they left her there with a protective barrier. We have no clue what's going on with Gawain, but I would love it if she just made a surprise appearance, just say, did you really think you could keep me prisoner? That'd be hilarious, and also shows that Gawain can get out of situations on her own. But either way, I'm excited to see what happens next. Not an action-packed chapter, some recent moments. All in all, it was okay. I wasn't super hyped for it this week, but I cannot wait to see how things progress with the rest of the story. And I'm pretty sure someone is going to point this out, but the fact that Gelda and Zeldris just stated that they consider Percival's son, and they hug and say, come back, you're always welcome here, I really hope that that is not a death flag for these characters, or at least one of them, because I love them, and they deserve as much screen time as possible, and I just want Percival to have a happy family again, since he doesn't have his grandfather, his actual biological father is actively trying to kill him. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this chapter. I liked it, wasn't anything too special, but I can't wait to see what happens next. What did you guys think? Leave your thoughts and opinions, theories in the comments section down below, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel, and it makes me more motivated to keep this up. And with all that out of the way, I hope you all have an awesome day.